TheorySabers.com.
On my shirt so much anymore. Like I like to be
Right.
more subdued, and I notice a lot of your gear, like your 66 or the 66. It's like if you know, you know. If you don't, you don't. And I kind of like that
Yeah, I like that.
crossover where I'm not
I like that.
plastered with everything. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I don't want to be loud. I want it to be like heavy weighted, not tight fitted, loose but tapered in certain areas. I have this idea, but it's got to be perfect. So right now, I mean, I'm so unbelievably busy with Theory Sabers and my team. It's like I don't have time for anything, but I'll find some cracks here and there.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Cracks.
Yo, speaking of cracks, who do you guys think should take over for Kathy? Because I mean, despite the article, still a pretty good chance that she retires either late this year, maybe earlier this year, maybe late this year, maybe early next year. So who do you think it would be?
Listen, I no one is saying this name, but I truly believe that Stuart Beattie really gets it.
Okay.
Like there are things about the Kenobi trilogy that he has that I have learned about. I'll just say that much. About it, it's brilliant. Like he understands these characters so well. He knows how they should progress, where they've been, and where they should go. And he always has George's respect in mind. And I think that is the best way to go about things. He has no sort of political agenda. He's just trying to tell a story about characters that have already been established and just sort of expanding on that. So I think Stuart Beattie is, I don't know about president of Lucasfilm, but I think he should be someone that they should consult a lot. And if they don't, I mean, they already hired him once and then they fired him. And
so he was the writer that did the movie version of Kenobi?
All three. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. No,
Bro.
I mean, dude, he was a stud.
Unreal.
Just from some of the stuff. Yeah, because didn't you? I want to say we did a show on that back in the day because like some of the stuff came out. Maybe he did an interview where he talked about like his version of Reva or something like that.
I did an interview.
I think
with
he
him.
still had Reva, but she like actually seemed like cool, like the way he was going to do.
Yeah, so I did an interview with him, and there's stuff he asked me not to say publicly, but just know that this guy is the guy. This guy is the guy. Like if there is any guy, I think he knows exactly what he's doing. Dave, I mean, you guys know I have been like the biggest Dave Filoni fan for forever. But lately I've just really fallen out of love with the guy. To say
okay, any reason why? That's kind of interesting.
Yeah, I mean, just like look at the direction that he took Ahsoka at the very end there. The hand that he had in the Mandalorian season 3. I mean, I don't, surface level stuff is all we can kind of see as a fan on the outside. We don't know what goes on the inside in the actual kitchen, but I just feel like he is supportive of like the Acolyte.
Oh, you know what's funny about that? Can I tell you something?
Yeah.
Christian Harloff apparently, and I haven't seen these words actually come out of Christian's mouth, so I want to make that clear. But somebody told me that he had a report that when it came to Acolyte, Filoni came in and cut it all up because he said it was too dark. So whatever they were doing with Acolyte, with like a lot of the stuff they were doing, apparently Dave came in and really cut that shit up and like was trying to get it in more of the tone of like the hopeful Star Wars-y thing. And a lot of people say like that the show just kind of didn't work because of that. I mean, look, I think the show was ridiculous anyways, but
shit, dude.
Isn't that kind of interesting? So if that's true, I don't know. To me, that's kind of good because I actually would say, taking what George had sort of set up with that in mind, absolutely. Like Star Wars can get dark and it faces real darkness, but it's not supposed to get to those subversive places of like darkness in the same way that some other content does, like The Boys, etc. Right? Those things don't match up. And I think what Leslie Headland was trying to do was kind of like a mature deconstruction, like fantasy fan film version of like what she's always wanted Star Wars to be. And it seems like Dave came in there and was like, nope. So yeah, I don't know. What do you guys think of that?
I can't imagine it being much worse than what we got. I mean, holy shit. The Acolyte is the worst thing that they've done easily. And that's saying something. I think that the biggest thing that's indicative of like why I'm surprised Kathy is still here, just briefly touching on that, is that Star Wars hasn't had a theatrical release in like 6 years. And Star Wars is a theatrical franchise.
Yeah.
And I think it's absurd that she can still have her job when she's failing at the main thing they purchased Lucasfilm for. Obviously, they purchased it for merchandising, but you need the movie to funnel the fans into the merchandise. And I'm just astounded. Like, how can you be so bad at your job and just still remain? Like 6 years, we've not seen a Star Wars film. That's absurd.
Mm-hmm. I know, dude. It is absurd.
It's insane.
Yeah, I don't know.
Hearing 6 just out loud is great. 6.
I know.
6 years.
I want to give a quick big shout out to everybody in the chat. With over 4,000 people live right now. Chat's going absolutely wild. They're loving the show. So
nice.
We're happy to see it.
What do you guys think? Because I'm a huge fan after Josh broke down about Kathleen's position and how it's a kind of a money man, not creative position. What do you think about the dual role? I love that DC got James Gunn for the narrative and then the money guy, sorry, I forget his name, to
Peter
handle
Safran.
that side. Yeah, I love that idea. Just to have somebody have that through line, because nobody can be strong in all places. I know I wouldn't want to do the money. I'd want to do the story. And so I think just get a James Gunn that's not like 60% less focused on comedy. And, you know, like a great writer, like, what was it? Stuart Beatty, did you say?
Yeah.
And then get a money man like George who can just fight them off for him or something, team them up for 10 years and see how they go.
I think that's what the Carrie Beck thing would be. Like a lot of people think that that's who it would be. Even if it was Kevin Feige, that's probably what it would be, right? Like Kevin would handle that side of the business and Dave would just kind of handle it. You know, it's funny, like in some ways Dave is already steering the ship creatively because he became CCO a couple of years ago. And from what I've heard, he really now kind of has his plans finally in place with a lot of things, which is probably why Acolyte got cut up or whatever. But I think the dual role, if it's Filoni, I think it almost has to be the dual role. Exactly what you said, Dash.
I feel sullied after they announced that Filoni was going to take on more work, because then the Acolyte immediately dropped, and it was like, okay, we've learned nothing. It's like you have this big announcement, everybody rejoices online, finally somebody that understands Star Wars, and then it's like the next thing is the worst thing ever. So at this point, I'm going to believe it when I see it. You know, I don't care who they put in charge. Make a good Star Wars anything, and then I'll be back on board.
Even if it's a Rey movie?
Even if it's a Rey movie. If the Rey movie is great.
Oh.
I'd rather have a good Rey movie than no Star Wars movie.
That's true. That's fair.